Hello, this teddygaming and welcome back to another review on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tmnt the RW ongoing series, issue 144, and this one is one which I just don't know what to really feel about it, because on one hand, I do like it and I do enjoy where they do leave a lot of things off with like so many characters and where they do set things up for the next issue, but also at the same time, I just can't describe it. I don't want to say that I hate it or dislike it, but there's something about it just makes go, huh. But I can't really describe it, but oh no, I did really enjoy this one, but it's just something about it that just makes go, huh, okay. Oh boy. Okay, so this one, I just don't know where to really begin. So, yeah, let's talk about Just Barlow stuff first. And this bit here, I must admit, I did find a bit very anticlimactic, just because this is supposed to be the big ending for Just Barlow, the big ending for the story arc, and it was really disappointing. Just because in this bit here, we do get to see Just Barlow. He's basically collecting all these like skulls in the psycho power type thing. I don't know, psycho power or whatever it is. He's collecting it because every creature who was having it has basically died or taken it off, and now it's affecting him to grow into this big monster. Now, the one problem with this is the fact that it doesn't really affect Leatherhead, it doesn't affect Mushroom or Venus, even though they have it and they're not affected by it somehow. So I do find it to be really weird that like those characters aren't affected, but he is. So I do find it to be really weird, but other than that, it was okay. But then other than that, in the scene, we do get to see other characters just ripping off like all these skulls off of him, and then Venus using her magic to destroy him, and then turn back into a normal mutant rat thing. Now I must admit here, also again, I do find it a little bit weird just because he turns into like a normal rat, and I just find it weird just because with most mutants in Mutant Town, they're normally like, you know, like humanoid versions of the animals. But it seems like somehow Just Barlow somehow was in a body of the rat and then was basically using people to transform himself into like a normal human. But then it doesn't really make sense because he was a like human surgeon before. So I do find all this to be a bit weird, but I think it's just gonna be like one of those things where I just like don't think about it too hard and just move on. But other than that, I thought this bit here was okay, I want to say, but it was just really disappointing for what they did do in this scene, and I do feel as though like they could have done a lot more. But I know that, like how they did like end things in this issue with doing so many things, with setting up things for the next issue and story arcs and stuff like that. It does make sense, but I just feel as though like there's a lot more they could have done. Now also in this scene, we do get to see Leatherhead basically calling a truce with the Turtles, and again, I just didn't really care all too much for this, just because like, Leatherhead in this universe hasn't really been around too much for it to be impactful or anything like that, and even though he has been a villain for most of the time in this series, I just didn't really care all too much for him, just because I know for like the writer for next like story arc or anything like that, probably won't use him as much, or might not even use him at all. So I want to look forward to Leatherhead and like seeing him be like a good guy, but at the same time, because of how much they haven't used him before, I just can't really get excited for this. But if they do something with this, then yay, but I just got a feeling it's not going to lead to anything. So in the next scene, we do get to see Raphael leaving Alapex, and we do get to see Angel returning with the Weasels and talking to Alapex, and that's when we do get to see Alapex wants to leave all the things behind her, such as like the clan, New York and stuff like that, and she wants to go back to Alaska to take the Weasels there and do something there. And with this bit here, it's a really weird thing. I don't know how to really describe it. Just because on one hand, I do like how they left things off with Raph and Alapex, and I do think that this was like the best possible outcome that could have happened. I think that overall the story, I think that like looking back on it now, it was a pretty decent story arc for Alapex, but I think that like there were certain aspects of the story that like they should have actually explored if she went further into, such like the cry stuff. But I think that like with the way that I handled it, like with the outcome, I think that this was the best possible outcome for it, and I just don't really know what to really say about it, because I like that like they're leaving off with this bit here, and I like that they're leaving like Alapex to go off and do her own thing and find out who she truly is and stuff like that. And I do think that maybe now she can actually get like a really good story out of it and actually make her like a really good character. But I don't really know what to really say of it, because I think it's supposed to be a story or like a mini series coming in the future for other picks, which if I do that, then that's really great. But also at the same time, I just don't know what to really say about that, because even though that'd be great to really explore her in like Alaska, even though there'll be like a mini series there, I just don't really know like what else I could really do with a character beyond that. And I think it might be a little bit weird just to have like one mini series on her and then that's it, we never see her again. So, and I just think like she's in like a situation just like with most other characters where they don't really know what to really do with a character, because like basically she's in like a really good position to be left off, but at the same time if you do leave her, then like there's stuff like you could do with a character, but if you do bring it back then you could be ruining stuff. So I think she's in a really tricky like situation, but it'll be interesting to see how they handle it with it. So in the next scenes we do get to see the other turtles more or less splitting up, and I just don't know what to really say about this, because on the one hand with what they're doing it's decent, it's great, but on the other hand we do know that in the next few issues we're going to see the turtles come back together and then fight Omicron. So it just feels like really weird and really forced in, and just feels really pointless to do it here, when basically it's all going to be undone like a few issues time. So it's a little bit weird, but I do see some potential here. Just because in this scene we do get to see Raphael says that he wants to leave and wants to go across the country riding a bike, and I must admit that is a series I'd love to read. I really hope someone like really brings this idea into like a mini series. I really do see like there's going to be like so much potential there to tell with Raphael just being on his own, riding across the country, so much potential. I really want them to do a mini series on that, but they won't, and it's a real shame. And then we do get to see Leonardo. He wants to go to the farmhouse on a more permanent basis, which I think could be interesting. And it's like another thing which I would like to see a little bit more like a mini series type thing, because I do feel as though like there could be something there to really tell, like Leonardo like really exploring who he really is and stuff like that. So I think there's potential there. But I do find it weird that he does take Carmen and Bob up there, so I don't know what he's going to do about that. And then with Donatello's stuff, it's a little bit weird, just because the first time I read it, I got a little bit confused and didn't really read it properly, and I thought that Donatello was going to go to the farmhouse, and that's going to be it. But then when I was reading it the first time, I saw Donatello didn't get in the car and went back to the lab, and I was thinking, oh my god, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is a really stupid mistake. But then I really read it and it's like, okay, yeah. so that's probably on my part. So I can't complain about it, about RW, but it's more a me problem. But other than that, I do like where they're setting things up for the future for the Turtles, with where they're going to be going next. But at the same time, I do feel as though like this was a big mistake doing it here, just because it does feel as though that all these characters are just like going their own separate ways, only to be brought back together again in the next few issues, and it's just going to feel pointless. But I do see some potential here with telling some stories while it's lasts, but other than that, it has some potential. It's just a shame that I can't really go all the way through with it. But yeah, it must admit overall, this whole issue has just been one of these ones which I just don't really know how to really feel about it, because there's a lot of stuff which I do really enjoy and do really like, and like how well like they are setting things up for the future, and whether do leave like a lot of characters off. But also at the same time, I do think it's like one of these issues that I do feel as though that you can like really pick apart and be like, well, you could have done that differently, could have done that and that and that. And when you do see what we're going to be doing for the future for the series, I do think there's like this little questions to be made here as well. But I just think that this issue might be one of these ones that we had to look back on and be like, yeah, okay, this was a good issue or was a bad issue. So it'll be a wait and see type of situation, and I'm hoping that it'll be a good story, but you never know for IW. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. If there's one, please share, like, subscribe, and all stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.